system restored. Hostile incinerator turret detected. Hostile striker drone detected. Hostile assault turret detected. Hostile sniper turret
Yo, what's up, agents? How y'all doing? Hope everybody's hanging in there, being as safe as you guys need to be. It's been a little while since I put out a video. Been busy with some other stuff. We now have the new season that just hit just over a week ago. And oh my lord, there is a ton of stuff for us. There's so much testing I need to do. So before I get into it, I will say I'm going to give the basics here of everything I found out over this last week. Still got a ton of farming and a lot of testing. With the new gear set and the new brand sets, I'm going to basically every single one of my builds I'm going to have to tweak with and see how this new gear may fit in. So without further ado, I'm going to jump right on into it. Do me a favor, if you guys find this interesting, you learn anything new, smash that like button, would be greatly appreciated. Hopefully by the end of this, I will have earned your guys' subscriptions. Best thing you can do to help my channel is to share this video. And if I miss anything or you guys think of anything that you would do different, leave a comment down below. All right, agents, so before jumping into the gear set and the brand set, a couple quick notes. Quality of life. So they have kicked the stash up from 300 to 350. So I was trying to micromanage the last couple days, and now I look today, I was like, oh shit. And I don't think that was last week. I think that just happened today at the reset today. So I think week 2, we just got 50 new spots. So that's great considering we got new gear. I also want to quickly talk about there's a new talent out called Pressure Point. And what this will do is it will amplify your damage against status affected enemies. It's a 15% multiplier against any status effects. And while this is smaller than, say, with our Pyromaniac, our Carnage, any of these weapons that amplify damage against specific status effects, you got to remember this is ubiquitous. So it will affect anything. You can use the same weapon, whether they're on fire from a barrel, whether they're bleeding, whether they are shocked. Any status effect that they are under, you will get that amplified damage. Versus if I'm using a Pyromaniac, yeah, maybe it's 25. I think it's up to 30% amplified damage now, which is great. But if I have a shocked enemy there, I'm not going to be doing any bonus damage to them. Food for thought there. But I also wanted to bring up, there's 2 named weapons now, the Goalie and the Rusty. The Goalie is an assault rifle. Rusty is an LMG. They both have the perfect pressure point, and that will amplify the damage by 20%. So this is a weapon that I'm going to have to use. And I quickly want to talk about a buff we've had recently and a combination that you guys may want to try for your status effect builds. So if you're running status effect builds, you have a weapon with perpetuation on it. You want to proc perpetuation and then apply your status effect. That will increase the damage and the duration by 75%. Your perpetuation will then go on to cooldown for 20 seconds. Swap weapons over to one of these weapons with the perfect pressure point. You will now do your 15 or 20% amplified damage to that target, and since they will be inflicted by the status effect for 75% longer, because diminishing returns, but 75% more time to do that amplified damage against them, which also buys more time for the cooldown of perpetuation. So then you wait, rinse and repeat. So this is going to be a way to really amplify your damage using the combination of perpetuation and this new pressure point talent for status effect builds, or even something like a weapon DPS build, but using St. Oma's engine, something like that. There's a lot of different ways this can be used. All right, now the next thing I want to mention is the idea, and keep this in mind. What we're going to be talking about is the new brand set and the gear set. These may, in many ways, make dedicated healer builds obsolete, which is ironic considering I just came out with the ultimate master healer build for the master difficulty. It works great. It's funny to think that maybe a few weeks later it would immediately become obsolete. Anyway, okay, first let's talk about the new brand set, Shiny Monkey Gear. So first of all, I can't get past the fact that this reminds me of the movie Monkey Shines. Fucked up movie from back in the 80s. But I digress. So the Shiny Monkey Gear is all skill tier based. We'll slot in. We have to do testing with all of our brand set based skill builds. The one piece bonus gives us 15% skill duration. The two piece bonus nets us 5% skill efficiency. Keep in mind, while this does seem small, skill efficiency, that's 5% skill damage, 5% skill repair, 5% status effects, 5% skill duration, and 5% skill haste, all wrapped up into that one blanket term, skill efficiency. So there's a lot more bang to the buck than it seems right at face value. Now the three pieces where it gets interesting. We get a whopping 52% repair skill from that. And just to put into perspective how powerful this brand set is, when I started messing around with the hardcore build, which is basically a tweak to the Astrone build, so it is both healing and skill damage. We would use a repair skill, mainly the Restorer Hive for early game, along with the Assault Turret, and this is how I got through early hardcore. And in this iteration, we will note that when I maxed out the skill damage and I maxed out the repair skill, we were able to do 90% of the base damage of our Astrone build with our skills, and at the same time have the same base healing as our full-blown Future Initiative Master Difficulty Medic build. Now, don't get me wrong, in both of these builds, in the Astrone builds, we have other skills and talents that will ramp that skill damage up quite a bit. That doesn't happen with this variation of the build. And also, that 100% healing we were able to achieve compared to the Future Initiative, with that Future Initiative Medic build, we're kicking out way more healing for a myriad of reasons too. The fact that we can do the baseline skill damage and healing is huge, and it's super easy to build for. So this might be something, this is more going to be early game builds when you have access to it and while min-maxing other builds. But I do think it is a very interesting brand set, and I will be playing with, I already am, but I'll be playing with it more in each variation of my build to see if it can actually add something to any of the builds we already have. Now let's move on to the meat and potatoes. All right, so the Refactor 2-piece will give us 15% status effects. 3-piece bonus will net us a whopping 25% skill damage. The 4-piece is what really brings it together and is the game changer. Return to Sender. Basic idea of this perk, as you damage enemy with your skills, it will heal you and your teammates. Baseline, without the chest or the backpack talents, it will heal us for 10% of the damage we do and heal our teammates for 20% of the damage we do. So you can already start seeing how it starts to alleviate the need for a dedicated healer there, particularly if you're able to use skills that can perpetually do damage. It's like they will always be having the healing. Now, we need to throw into that the chest and backpack talents. So the chest talent is called Increased Interest. This will add 15% additional healing on top of the 10 and 20%. So we will be healed for 25% of the damage done by our skills. Our teammates will be healed for 35% of that damage we do. Now, while that is a whopping amount, what I will most likely do is aim for something like Kinetic Momentum or Glass Cannon to kick our skill damage up. Simply ramping up our skill damage as much as we can. A, kills things faster, but also ramps up the healing since the healing is directly tied to the amount of skill damage we do. So most likely I will not be using the chest piece, however we will play it around with it a bit. As far as the backpack goes, that nets us the over-engineered talent. This is a very interesting one as well, as it gives us up to 80% bonus armor. When we are at full armor, any additional healing will overstack and give us bonus armor up to 80%. This cannot affect our teammates, so it's only beneficial for ourselves. The one area I see this being kind of cool is if we're running a team, somebody has a future initiative build where we get that amplified damage from being at full armor. This means we can be taking hits and we're constantly being healed, and that healing will continue to give us that bonus armor while we're taking damage, which means we can sustain that grounded damage bonus from somebody else's future initiative bonus. All right, so that is pretty much... Oh, and what I will say is, overall, while that seems cool, we also have some other talents from the backpack. You know, we got combined arms. We can do something with tech support to ramp up that damage if we're not taking a lot of damage or if we're not worried about that bonus armor. And more substantially, I think, is what's going to happen is the combination of using the Ninja Bike with 3 pieces of this gear set and then being able to swap in 2 additional pieces of gear somehow. So there's a lot that's going to be on the table with this build. There's a lot of playing we're going to have to do. One last thing of note, and because this might be a bug, I'm bringing it up last. Maybe this is intentional, but you guys will notice that the left-hand column is skill tier. The right-hand column is armor core. Kind of strange. The only other time that we've seen anything like this is when it was obvious because they patched it out. The Caesar's Guard chest piece used to be able to roll with armor core or weapon core on it. So I had a wonderful piece with max weapon damage, skill damage on it, and critical hit chance. And I made a video on it, and a week later they fixed it, so it went back to skill tier. So this may be a bug. They may fix it. This may be exactly the way they planned on it being. So we're just going to have to wait and see. Anyway, that's all the information I have on this for right now. Hopefully, I think I've covered everything that I'm aware of right now. There's so much work that has to be done, so much testing, so many combinations that may come into play. I'm just going to need the time to do that. So, again, I hope you guys learned something new, found this entertaining. If so, smash that like button, be greatly appreciated. Hopefully by now, if I haven't already, I will have earned your guys' subscriptions. Best thing you can do to help my channel is to share this video. And if I missed anything, you guys have any cool ideas or anything you guys want me to cover in the future, leave those comments down below. All right, you agents, be as safe as you need to be. We will catch you all in the dark zone. Peace out, everybody.
Waiting for your signal. Shoot off a flare when you're ready to come home.
System activated. Stay now.
See you. Kilo inbound on your location. position.
All right.